Welcome back, guys, to another video at Thryve Empire. Today we're going to be answering a question from one of our viewers, Mohib Quadri.
Mohib!
He wants to know how to perform under pressure. Let's get into it. As you've seen in the comment, as Mohib asked, he wants to know how you handle situations when there's chaos all around you. What do you do when it seems like everything is going wrong and nothing can go right? How do you handle those situations and how do you get past them?
That's a great question, Mohib. We appreciate you writing that. And the thing is we're all gonna have those times where things get super stressful, we don't know what to do. But thankfully, if we follow these things, not just when things do get stressful, but before things get bad, it's gonna help you when hits the fan. It's gonna help you deal with it. Your mind's in the right place, your body's in the right place. That being said, let's get right into it.
So first of all, guys, if you are in pressure, you need to focus on the present. A lot of people, when they're dealing with this pressure, they're thinking about all the stuff in the past, they're thinking about all the stuff in the future. What could go wrong? What might happen? They look in the past like, oh, when this happened, this bad thing happened. And now that they're dealing with something difficult, they're thinking, well, what if I do this wrong? What if I do that wrong? What if I don't know what to do? How do I take the steps to do something if there's all this pressure and there's all these ways that I could go wrong? Well, you need to be thinking in the present. You don't need to be thinking about the future, what could go wrong, what could go right. You need to think, what should I be doing right now to best handle this situation?
And that's the most common tendency, is people will think in the future. Everybody does that, like, oh no, they're anxious about the future, something that happened in the past. When in reality, if you were to, okay, take a step back and realize what's in the present, what can I control now that's gonna benefit me in the future and prevent this from happening again or help me with this now, you'd be a lot better off than if you just scamper and be all anxious about the future and the past like most people do. But if you think about the present, the things you can actually control, it's gonna help you out mentally big time.
One little tip that I have for you guys is this 4-step process. So in order to deal with pressure in the present, you have to first stop. Stop what you're doing. Stop trying to think about the future. Stop trying to think about the past. Stop trying to figure out what should I be doing right now. Just stop. First, you need to stop. Number 2, breathe, okay?
You gotta slow it down.
Empty your mind, slow it down, and breathe. Take some deep breaths and just relax. 3, now put your brain on. You've relaxed, you've stopped. Now start thinking. Start thinking of the situation you're in. Start thinking of some different ways that you can tackle it. And number 4, when you have all those thoughts, you have all these ideas, you've stopped, you've breathed, you've thought about the actual situation you're in, then you do. Just do it! Then you attack it, you actually do it. But if you're just going at it day after day after day after day without thinking, without stopping, without breathing, you're never going to know what to do.
You're gonna get an overload. Most people panic.
Yeah.
But like he says, if you take a step back, you realize what's going on, there's a lot better things that you can be doing. Like if you just never stop and your brain's always moving, it's the only thing you control. It's the only thing you can actually control. You can't control, you know, if your mom dies, you can't control if this happens, your family. That's kind of fucked up, your mom, but people's mom dies, obviously. I don't know. Anyways, a lot of things you can't control. So you need to master the art of your mind. Your mind is a complete asset. In most cases for people, it's a liability. Your mind, a liability? It's your fault for being all panicky, like a bitch. Just kidding. That's why we're making this video, to help you out. Stop, breathe, think, do.
Another thing, Mohib, everybody else who's watching, you need to practice discipline. This is outside of the pressure, right? This is a slightly different thing. This is not about performing under pressure. This is just about building discipline. And what happens when you build discipline is, instead of being in those pressure situations, you just don't have as much pressures, right? When you build that discipline to do these things, you don't even fall under the situations where there's chaos around you. You don't even end up in these situations where you have to perform under pressure, because there's not pressure. You've already done this, you do it every day, you wake up, you go to the gym, there's no more pressure anymore. Practicing discipline is a way to avoid pressure and also deal with it if you're in it, because you have all those skills, you have those values in your brain of, when things get hard, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it every day, no matter how hard it is.
Exactly. By building discipline, like he said, no matter if there's emotion involved in this or not, you'll still do the things that you have to do. Most people get so wrapped up in their anxieties or their worries about whatever it is. By practicing discipline over a long period of time, you're going to have that understanding that even when things do go wrong, I'm still going to do the things that I have to do. You can't be a folder. You perform under pressure. And by doing this discipline over a long period of time, things might not be stressful now, but if you build discipline over a long period of time, like he said, when things do get stressful, you know how to deal with it a lot better. Mohib!
Another good point, guys, Mr. Andrew Tate, Top G, what he says is, you could take the antidote before you get poisoned. And the idea of this is, if you know that certain situations are coming up, let's say you have a test, right? You're in college, you're in high school, you have a big test coming up and you don't study. Well, now when the test comes up, you're performing under pressure. What you can do, and this is just an example, is you could take the antidote before the poisoning comes, which means you can study, you can prepare for that situation beforehand.
Yep.
And a lot of things that come up in your life, you already know they're gonna happen. Obviously, there's certain things you're gonna have to perform under pressure because they're just gonna strike you like lightning. But not everything, not everything. A lot of things you already know they're gonna happen and you choose not to focus on them. And then they arrive and you're like, oh no.
You're fucked. And you fold, like we said not to.
Like an omelet.
And this kind of goes hand in hand with the whole discipline thing. If you practice discipline and you're doing the difficult things beforehand, you train your brain over that year, the next coming year, something traumatic happens, you're ready for it. If you're just a little squirmy, wormy boy, when things go wrong, you're fucked. But with discipline, if you take the antidote before the poison, you're gonna be a lot more ready. These are things that you can be doing today. Something bad won't happen for 2 years from now, but if you start today, start building discipline, start changing your understanding of how you can actually respond to these things, you're gonna be a lot better off.
Yeah.
There are things in the future that are going to happen, no matter what. Our family, our loved ones are going to pass. They're going to, right? We're not gonna live forever. So in the event of a family member passing, yes, it's very traumatic, it's very hard, but if you practice discipline beforehand, take the antidote beforehand, even though it's hard, stressful, traumatic, difficult, you're still going to perform and do the things that you have to do. Most people want to feel bad for themselves. No, this happened, I'm just gonna sit back on my couch because I deserve it for 2 weeks. I mean, sure, I guess you deserve it, but it's not gonna help you sitting there not doing shit.
Yeah, I mean, Andrew Tate says working harder is never gonna be worse.
Never.
No matter what happens, if bad things happen, if you're dealing with a lot of stuff, working harder at the least is never gonna make things worse.
It never will. In any situation ever, working harder will never make things worse. Unless you're like some cardiac, like your heart's gonna fail or something. Other than that, it's not gonna hurt you.
Shout out Andrew Tate. You should check this video out on Thryve Empire if you see this clip.
We're gonna stop right here real quick. Just as Mohib commented, thank you so much, Mohib. In the future, you guys leave some comments, questions you have to ask us. We'll make a video and answer it. We love doing these videos. We are much appreciated to Mr. Mohib. Thank you very much for reaching out and commenting. I'm happy we can make this video. Let us know if it helped you out. And anybody else, comment, ask us questions.
Next, guys, visualize yourself having already accomplished those goals after the pressure. Mr. Bedros Keuilian says it best. What does he say?
He says you need to see yourself with the trophy before you even cross that finish line.
You see yourself with the trophy. You're in the race right now. Right now, you're in the race. That's the pressure you're dealing with. Everybody's in a race. Everybody's in this rat race of life. If you see yourself with the trophy, it makes the pressure way easier to handle because it gives you something to look forward to.
You build that visualization of you succeeding, and it's a legitimate thing. Your brain doesn't know you're imagining it, motherfucker. Your brain thinks, okay, this dude is winning before he's even winning. We're gonna leave the link of that short in the description of that Bedros. I love that short. It's only 15 seconds long. I'm getting shivers thinking about it right now. It's an awesome short. You need to visualize success before it even happens. It's a huge one.
And last, guys, everybody handles pressure differently, but the only failure is the person who quits.
That's right.
The person that gives up cannot win. They can't achieve success. They can't deal with the pressure. But those that push through pressure build those muscles in what it takes to deal with pressure and become stronger, and they become more powerful under pressure.
It's the only way. It's the only way. Andy talks about it too. Andy, whatever his name is.
From Toy Story.
Yeah, that's awesome. The car salesman, everybody knows Andy. I'm drawing a blank, but the only way to get past anxiety is go through it, is go right through it, not go around it, because then it'll come back and hit you again. You have to go right through it. The things that are making you most anxious probably have the biggest reward behind them. That's always the case, and it's always been the case. Jump towards fear, jump towards anxiety, because you're gonna find that after you pass that, now it's behind you, and now you're strong as f***. See ya. Now that being said, guys,
thank you for watching the video. Leave a like, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, and in order to perform under pressure, you have to be powerful in pressure.
You're the man, Mohib. Be glad we can answer this question for you. Thrive on. Thrive on. Mohib.